So a great shot of Antares on the pad there now as we continue to march towards our liftoff, now 22 minutes away from ignition of that first stage.
FSO LC countdown.
Meanwhile, the Expedition 40 crew flying overhead. The station itself will be 260 statute miles just over northwest Australia at the time of launch. If you look at the ground track here, in about 20 minutes it'll be on that bottom line there, just over northwest Australia. Cygnus will then race after it for about 2 days before catching up on Wednesday, at which point it'll be grappled by Expedition 40 Commander Steve Swanson, with Alexander Gerst backing him up inside of the station's cupola.
Wallop, CT site on, tone 4 radiating.
Copy, FSO. We'll check step 348 at this time.
So as talked about a little bit earlier, one of the primary needs for these resupply crafts are to constantly fly new scientific research to the crews on board the International Space Station. Some of the highlights found on Cygnus today include a new flock of microsatellites from Planet Labs. They flew back on the Orbital 1 mission in January, launching an initial fleet of 28 CubeSats, individually known as Dove satellites, that were jettisoned out from the International Space Station. They use this collective of small, relatively inexpensive satellites, and they will be joined by 28 additional Dove satellites known as Flock 1B, flying today on Orb 2.
You go to apply external power to the FTSA and FTSB. FTSA.
As they're deployed, the two flocks work in unison to capture imagery of the entire planet on a much more frequent basis than is currently available. These images, like many Earth observation tasks from the International Space Station itself, can be used to help identify and track natural disasters. The station getting a lot of fantastic hurricane imagery with the storms over the last 2 weeks, and also help coordinate responses to those, as well as improving environmental and agricultural monitoring and management.
Roger that. We'll check step 351.
Another satellite technology demonstration flying on Orb 2 today, known as TechEdsat-4, part of a large ongoing study known as the Small Payload Quick Return System, trying to come up with a new means of returning small payloads in a temperature and pressure controlled environment from the station. Currently, the SpaceX Dragon, the only large-scale way to return samples from the International Space Station. TechEdsat-4 will be deploying from the Japanese experiment module. Primary objectives to develop a drag device, also known as an exobrake, which will help slow the vehicle and send it through the Earth's atmosphere safely. Engineers hoping to use those exobrakes to eventually enable small sample return from the station or other orbital platforms to Earth. Also potentially could be used in the not too distant future for landing small payloads on the Martian surface.
Remove, continue tone 4 when function removed.
Arm on my mark, 3, 2, 1, mark, +1, +2, arm removed, tone 4 continued.
FTS, verify FTS arm indication telemetry.
LC, FTS arm indication verified.
FSO, verify FTS arm indication.
FTS arm indication.
FTS, verify FTS currently indicates safe and receiving tone 4, and verify FTS SNA and FTLU status indicates safe.
FTS safe.
FTS standing for the Flight Termination System, one of the safeguards for today's launch.
And FTS status on SNAs and FTLU?
LC, this is FTS. FTS safe.
And FTS step 358, looking for status on the SNAs and the FTLU.
LC, this is FTS. Do you copy?
FTS, LC, countdown 1.
FTS, this is LC. Do you copy?
Yeah, I've got you loud and clear. How many?
Sorry, I'm having some comm problems over here. I hear you loud and clear.
And FTS looking for confirmations at 357 and 358.
FTS safe. FTS safe and arm and FTLU safe.
Copy that, FTS. We'll check step 358 complete. GNC-1, LC, step 359, provide status of upper level winds.
LC GNC-1, upper level winds are green.
Copy that, GNC-1, check 359.
The team at the Wallops Range Control Center continuing to check through their milestones, heading towards that launch at 11:52 a.m. Central. Currently 16 minutes away. The weather continuing to look good out at the Wallops Flight Facility, thankfully. A couple of storms, as you heard earlier, impacting the rollout earlier this week, but definitely cooperating over the weekend to finish preparing the rocket, and everything looking good. A 90% chance of favorable weather for launch today. Just a few minutes now from the expected time for the poll for the final countdown. So as mentioned in the beginning of the show, it'll be about a 10-minute climb to orbit. The first stage firing for the first 4 minutes before shutting down and separating that liquid first stage, powering Cygnus to its initial altitude of 70 miles. Then the fairings will separate before the second stage is ready to ignite.
CMDLC,
that solid
down 1, step 360.
solid rocket motor second stage will deliver Cygnus into its initial orbit of about 159 or 160 statute miles before Cygnus will separate from it, deploy its solar arrays, test its reaction jets real quickly, and then be on its way for its 2-day journey towards the International Space Station. All of that today should take about 10 minutes. So fairly quick climb to orbit for the resupply craft.
And launch team LC on countdown 1. Be advised, poll for final countdown and MES medium flow will occur at T-minus 12 minutes. Check step 361.
And just now you hear the call coming for that poll for final countdown coming at T-minus 12 minutes. Right now we're about 13 minutes and 40 seconds away from launch.
This is CMD on countdown 1.
Go ahead, CMD.
Cygnus is on internal power and nominal.
Roger that, CMD. We'll check 360 complete.
Getting the confirmation Cygnus has been switched to internal power. So that final poll coming up in just under a minute now. At T-minus 11 minutes, the transporter erector launcher armed will be armed for rapid retract. About 5 minutes before launch, the Antares avionics systems responsible for guiding the rocket will be switched over to internal power. T-minus 3 minutes, the auto sequence or the terminal count will begin. T-minus 2 minutes, the propellant tanks will be pressurized. The pressurizing agent, helium gas. T0 will be the main engine ignition. Just about 2 seconds after that, we will see the first motion and liftoff of Antares. Now standing by for that final countdown poll.
And launch team LC on countdown 1. At this time, I'd like the poll to proceed with final countdown and medium flow chill down. MES 1.
MES is go.
GCE.
GCE is go.
ACE.
ACE is go.
GSO.
GSO is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
TD.
TD is go.
Mars.
Mars is go.
CMD.
CMD is go.
LD.
LD is go.
Orbital.
LC, this has been a well-executed countdown. We're ready to deliver another load of cargo to the space station. Orbital is go.
And launch team is go to proceed with final countdown and medium flow chill down. Check step 362. Site control LC countdown 1. Arm tel for rapid retract.
And LC site control copy is in work.
Launch team, be advised, phase 4 dynamic limits will be active at T-minus 10 minutes. Check 365.
And there we have it, the final poll to proceed with final countdown. All cleared, every position a go. Everything looking on track now, under 11 minutes from launch. The team at the Wallops Range Control Center reporting, all systems looking good. This is a close-up of that transporter erector launcher arm, currently armed as of T-minus 11 for its rapid retract from the Antares rocket. Just about 5 minutes from now, the avionics on board the launch vehicle will be switched over to internal power. Following that, at T-minus 3 minutes, we'll begin the terminal countdown of the rocket.
LC MES1, medium flow started.
Check 366. And Ops 1 LC, enable stage 1 controller and ACS VDMs.
LC Ops 1 in work. Stage 1 controller VDMs enabled. Upper ACS, internal power on. Lower ACS, internal power on. Step complete.
And Elect 1, verify and telemetry. Stage 1 and ACS VDMs are enabled, and verify VDM voltage.
Stage 1 controller and ACS VDMs enabled. VDM voltage is nominal.
Check 368. Site control status on arming of TEL for rapid retract.
And LC site control, we just got the arming verified and complete.
TEL LC, confirm TEL arm for rapid retract.
LC TEL.
So the TEL, again, the transporter erector launcher arm, has been armed for rapid retract. Eight minutes and counting to Antares launch.
And site control LC, step 369, confirm GN2 conditioning has started.
And LC site control, we can confirm GN2 conditioning has it been initiated.
Roger that, check 369.
So again, marching close to launch now. We're coming up on T-minus 7 minutes. The team already completed their final poll. All systems go. The range looking good for the launch of Antares today. Beautiful day out at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia for a launch. Weather cooperating with a 90% chance of favorable conditions. A nice break from the storms that plagued the launch teams throughout the week getting ready. But they were able to persevere and get Antares and Cygnus ready, loaded, and locked for its launch to the International Space Station, 6 minutes 40 seconds away from liftoff. And again, just to recap, following a successful flight today, it'll be a 3-day trip towards the International Space Station. Cygnus on days 2 and 3 will continue its ascent, and then flight day 4, actually on Wednesday, it'll be in range to be grappled by the crew on board the International Space Station, then attached by robotics controllers here in Houston, controlling the robotic arm to the Earth-facing side of Harmony.
ECS has transferred from air to GN2.
And LC site control, we can confirm transfer to air to the GN2 confirmed.
Roger that. Check 370.
Now approaching 5 minutes until launch. Expecting the calls for the Antares avionics switching over to internal power.
Avionics to internal power.
LC Ops 1 in work. All internal power on selected. Standing by 5 seconds. All external power off. Step complete.
Elect 1, verify avionics, internal power nominal.
Confirmation, Antares and avionics responsible for controlling the rocket now on internal power.
Range is green.
And Ops 1, open FTS umbi-loop and verify green indication.
LC Ops 1, FTS umbi-loop is open and green.
FTS, verify FTLUs are armed with no receiver arm and no FTLU destruct.
LC, this is FTS. FTLU and FTS receiver indications are nominal.
Ops 1, you go to activate arm enable.
LC Ops 1, arm enable key rotated, indicator illuminated.
And Ops 1, you go to send all arm command.
Copy LC in work.
T-minus 4 minutes now from launch. At 3 minutes, the terminal count will begin.
LC Ops.
On the loops, you're hearing FTLU, the Flight Termination Logic Unit, and FTS, the Flight Termination System responsible for safing the rocket throughout its ascent.
SNAs and ODMs all armed.
Roger that. 379 will not be required for today's op. Phase 5 dynamic limits will be active at T-minus 3 minutes. Elect 1, I'll wait for your calls for steps 381, 382, and 383.
Now standing by for the beginning of the auto sequencing start and the terminal count.
We have auto sequence start. Control has transferred to CSOE.
Elect 1, verify nominal ODM bus volts and currents.
ODM bus voltages and currents nominal.
Roger that. Core 1, I'll wait for your confirmation.
Preliminary LO2 locks, tank pressurization started.
Roger that. Check 385. And Elect 1, verify SIGI ready to configure for flight.
Coming up on the propellant tank pressurization using helium gas inside.
Disable automated blended to pure inertial handoffs.
This will be responsible for delivering the RP1 rocket fuel and liquid oxygen for combustion in the two main engines.
Manual handoff sent.
Copy that. And launch team, we're at T-minus 1 minute 45 seconds on my mark. Mark. Ops 2, you go to disable ME1 and ME2 heaters.
Heaters disabled.
Roger that. And core
1 minute 30 seconds to launch.
Preliminary fuel tank press.
Copy.
Again, T-minus 0 will be main engine ignition. They'll do about 2 seconds of health checks before liftoff will actually take place.
Preliminary fuel tank pressurization started.
T-minus 1 minute on my mark. Mark.
Now under a minute from Antares liftoff from the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. All systems go, the range clear, everything looking good.
T-minus 30 seconds. Mark.
Now under 30 seconds, stand by for that first ignition. The two main engines on the first stage will be igniting.
T-minus 10 seconds.
CBC slew test initiated.
Mark.
And 10 seconds to launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have ignition.
And we have liftoff of Antares for the Orb 2 mission from the Wallops Flight Facility, delivering Cygnus on its second commercial resupply service to the International Space Station.
Antares off the pad. The SS Janus Voss on its way with the Orbital 2 Science Research Supply mission to the International Space Station.
TVC nominal. Attitude is nominal during flyout. Core pressures are nominal in the commodity tanks. We're at 108% power. Throttle back to 104%. Engines are nominal. Attitude is nominal. TVC performance is nominal.
Getting good first stage performance.
The Antares Orb 2 mission.
And the first stage will fire for just about 4 minutes into flight.
Attitude is nominal. Engines remain nominal. Power is nominal on our power buses, electrical power buses. Hydraulic TVC performance is good. We're at 20,000.
Two first stage engines firing successfully, carrying Antares through the clouds.
Attitude is nominal. Core pressures are nominal. We're adding helium into the ullage volume of the pressure-in tanks to keep them up to pressure. Passing through max Q now. Attitude is nominal. Engine performance is nominal on the AJ26 engine. TVC performance is nominal.
Right now we're switching to a launch animation. The rocket itself lost in view through the clouds, continuing to perform nominally though, as expected.
Engine still at 100%. Engines are nominal.
Coming up on 2 minutes since launch.
We're 115 seconds into the mission. We're roughly 2 minutes from MECO. Core pressures are nominal.
MECO, the main engine cut off, the end of the stage 1 flight into orbit.
Attitude is nominal. Altitude is 100,000 feet. Engine performance is nominal. Avionics power is nominal. Attitude is good. Core pressures are good. And TVCs are tracking very well. Very small steering commands on the engines today. Overall, Antares performance is green.
Coming up now in 2 minutes, 50 seconds since liftoff. Just about 1 more minute until stage 1 shutdown.
Attitude is nominal.
Just a few seconds after shutdown, stage 1 will separate.
We're 1 minute to MECO. Engine performance is nominal to date. Attitude is nominal. Altitude 200,000 feet. And LOX tank is getting additional valves open to continue the pressurization sequence. All is good. Attitude is nominal. We're about 30 seconds to MECO. We have started throttle down of the engines to keep the axial acceleration below limits. TVC slew maneuver started. Attitude is nominal. Altitude 300,000 feet. And we're coming up on MECO. Pressures are good. Engines at 58% thrust. And we have MECO.
Stage 1 throttling down, main engine cut off.
PSS disabled. We have stage 1 separation.
In stage 1 separation confirmed, the 2 main engines doing their job successfully.
Coast period here before we will separate the fairing.
At this point, the rocket traveling well over 9,000 miles an hour.
Coast period. Okay, closed loop guidance has engaged. Stage 2 ignition time is 3:39 mission time. We're currently at 2:75. So another minute. Okay, and
so under a minute now from the solid second stage rocket igniting,
nominal performance
continuing to carry Cygnus into orbit.
Velocity is at 19,525 feet per second, which is right in the box. Altitude is 150 kilometers. Antares is coasting between stage 1 and stage 2 burns. When we get up to a higher altitude, we will separate the fairing and the inner stage. Avionics power is nominal on the power buses. Antares performance is green. Pegasus, Antares continues to coast. Wrong rocket there. Attitude is nominal during the coast period.
So at this point, fairing separation coming.
And now we have interstage separation. We're preparing for the stage 2 ignition. And we have positive confirmation of stage 2 ignition. Antares is thrusting to put Cygnus into orbit. I'm taking some telemetry here. It's in the center here. Battery voltage is good. Attitude is nominal during stage 2 burn.
The rocket at this point, our Cygnus over 116 statute miles in altitude.
Avionics power is nominal. Attitude is nominal. Altitude 180 kilometers. Antares performance nominal under stage 2 burn.
The stage 2 engine will raise the altitude into its initial orbital insertion of just around 160 statute miles.
Stage 2 performance is good.
Everything continuing to go as planned, the rocket and the cargo craft looking good.
Attitude is nominal. We see some ACS firings to control the roll axis. Pitch and yaw are controlled by the thrust vector controller. Altitude is 190 kilometers. Attitude is nominal. Okay, we're roughly a minute from burnout. Attitude is nominal. Altitude 195 kilometers.
So the second stage, as you can hear, continuing to raise Cygnus into a higher and higher orbit.
Getting good usable data. Attitude is nominal. Antares performance is green under stage 2 burn. Avionics power is nominal. And we have stage 2 tail off and burnout.
So the second stage finishing up its job. Vehicle will now orient itself for payload separation.
We will settle rates and point the Cygnus in preparation for the separation of the Cygnus.
LC, DPM, countdown 1.
Stand by, DPM. DPM, meet me on countdown 2.
And Antares performance is nominal. And cold gas ACS is being used to point the Antares upper stack in preparation for Cygnus separation. Avionics power is nominal.
That separation anticipated to come just a little over a minute from now. Following separation, it'll be at an altitude of about 154 statute miles. At that point, it'll begin to deploy the solar arrays and do all the initial on-orbit checkouts.
Attitude is nominal. We're achieving the attitude in preparation for separation. Antares status is green. Orbit achieved, looks very good. We're just standing by for separation of the Cygnus from the upper stage of the Antares. Approximately 30 seconds to separation. Avionics power buses look strong. And we're receiving telemetry data through the Bermuda tracking station and relayed here to the Wallops Control Center. Roughly 10 seconds to separation. Attitude is nominal. And we have Cygnus spacecraft separation. And we are beginning the collision and contamination avoidance maneuver using the cold gas ACS.
A couple of claps there from the Wallops Range Control Center confirming Cygnus has separated successfully, is in its initial orbit. Here you can see a quick animation, the second stage performing as expected. Cygnus separating in its initial orbit now of about 154 statute miles, traveling at a speed of over 16,700 miles an hour.
Very good orbit achieved today, 191 by 284 kilometers. Inclination is right on the money at 51.64 degrees. And good luck to our Cygnus partners in rendezvous with the ISS.
Okay, launch team LC on countdown 1. Be advised, we're going to continue to run with our post-launch checklist here in the LCC. Maintain net protocol until we have all stations released. And site control, LC.
LC site control.
And with that, a flawless 10-minute ride to orbit on the back of the Antares rocket, carrying Cygnus into its initial orbit. The SS Janus Voss now well on its way towards the International Space Station with over 3,300 pounds of supplies for the Expedition 40 crew. All indications pointing to fantastic, perfect execution by the first and second stages. The fairing separating successfully from the rocket and revealing Cygnus to the vacuum of space.
Ops 1 LC, you go to deactivate arm enable and verify.
LC Ops 1, arm enable deactivated.
And Ops 1, can you disable local launch enable button at the failsafe panel and verify local indicators extinguished?
Ops 1, launch enable removed.
Roger that. Check 404 and 405. Core 1 LC, countdown. And GSO step 4 is 6. You go to disable local launch enable button at the failsafe panel. Verify
LC,
local indicator is extinguished. Stand by, Core 1.
LCGSO on countdown 1. Would you repeat, please?
Yeah, step 4 is 6. Disable local launch enable button at the failsafe panel. Verify local indicators extinguished.
Launch enable button is extinguished.
Copy that. Check 406. And Core 1 LC steps 402 and 403 direct use NOIA to power off their MS and FMS GE equipment.
In work.
Copy and work.
So now the flight control team going through their final launch checklist. The next major thing on board on the list for Cygnus will be the deployment of the solar arrays which power the vehicle throughout its 3-day rendezvous with the International Space Station.
Ground Mach, external power off.
Check 408. ORB-TM, report when telemetry lock's been lost at the DCOM for avionics, MC, and stage 1 streams.
LC ORB-TM, the lock has been lost. Archive stopped.
Copy that. And so you can stop telemetry archive at the TCOM. DCOM will check 409 and 410. And ORB-TM, you can stop LCC telemetry, the DTS distributor logging, and you can stop G2 telemetry recording.
Copy that. Recorder stopped.
And logging stopped?
And logging stopped.
Copy that. Ops 2, report the power supply volts and currents in step 413.
VIC power supply 18, voltage is 29.97, current is 0. VIC power supply 19, voltage is 28.99, current is 1.14. VIC power supply 22, voltage is 27.98, current is 2.31.
And Ops 2, can I get a read back on power supply 18 voltage?
Voltage is 29.97.
And I copy that read back. We'll check 413. And Ops 2, you can power off the lithium-ion battery monitor power at this time?
It's already been powered down.
Okay, roger that. Check 414.
So the first solar array on Cygnus has been deployed, standing by for confirmation of the second.
If indication not as expected.
Yeah, LC Ops 1. All SNAs.
So again, one of 2 solar arrays on the Cygnus craft has been deployed at this point, standing by for confirmation of the second. So again, standing by for confirmation of the second solar array's deployment on board Cygnus, the first being done successfully. Everything going as expected by the book with this launch and deployment of the cargo craft today. Spirits high there at the Wallops Launch and Range Control Center out at the flight facility in Virginia. And Terry's getting the vehicle up there without a hitch. The team's battling some weather throughout the week and a few technical issues, but everything going as expected today, not tracking any issues. The vehicle in its initial orbit.